Welcome to my channel. This is Dr. K with Body Successful. In today's video, I'm going to cover topics such as the long-term effects of dieting, metabolic damage, how to fix it, and finally, last but not least, reverse dieting. So if you're watching this video, I suspect that at some point you decided to make some changes to your body. You decided to diet because that's the common misconception that in order to make changes in your body, you have to eat less and move more. And that's probably exactly what you did. You started cutting calories and you saw results and you were so happy and on cloud nine until the results started tapering off. Then you had to cut more calories in order to see results and maintain the change. Again, you saw some more results, you felt pretty good until the results started tapering off. Then you perhaps had to exercise more or maybe cut more calories and exercise more in order to maintain the change. Okay, let's fast forward and you hit rock bottom. And now you are doing a whole lot for nothing. You are eating very little, you are exercising a lot, and you're not seeing absolutely any changes, or your changes are so slow that you're really flustered because you have nowhere to go from here. So why did this happen, you guys? Well, I have two words for you: adaptation and survival. If you look back at history, you see that all the organisms that survived were not necessarily the biggest or the strongest, but rather they were the organisms that were able to adapt to their ever-changing environment, and that's the reason they didn't go extinct, just like us, humans. So we have mastered this. We know exactly, our body rather knows exactly how to change constantly with the changing environment and make the proper tweaks and changes in order to sustain survival at the best rate. So this is exactly why this is no longer working for you. Your body has reset and adapted to the parameters that you're giving it. Okay, so now you're in a pickle. You're feeling really bad about yourself. You're not liking the way you look in the mirror. You want to be doing the right things, but nothing's working. And you're freaking out. Okay, stop. I want to reassure you that all this is reversible. They have done a study in the Second World War called the Minnesota Starvation Study, where they took a bunch of men, and I'm going to be talking about this study a whole lot more later on because I think it has a lot of educational bullets, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to mention a couple of things just to reassure you, because I feel like I need to reassure you at this point, guys. So what they did is, anyway, they took a bunch of guys who were healthy, with healthy metabolisms, and they starved them down over a period of 3 months. At the end of the 3 months, they reached a semi-starvation state that they sustained for another 6 months. And at the end of the 6 months, they re-fed these guys their bodies for another 3 months until they gained their whole weight back. So what they found is 9 months into the study, or 6 months after the semi-starvation period, that across the board, all guys lost about 40% of their basal metabolic rate. Well, yes, adaptation and survival, guys. The body did the proper changes in order to sustain life given the parameters that it had. Completely normal. Now, the interesting thing is, after they refed these people for 3 months, the guys that refed really fast, so they didn't take the whole 3 months to get to their normal caloric intake that would sustain that they sustained prior. They gained their basal metabolic rate back much faster. So they started burning a lot of calories at rest, basically. The guys that took a long time to refeed, like the whole 3 months, they increased their basal metabolic rate a lot slower rate, but they all got there. So, takeaway news, yes guys, it's reversible. It just takes time. Now, there's an interesting fact, excuse me. What they've also found that once these guys gained their weight back completely, they noticed that they all gained back approximately 140% of their previous body fat percentage. So what that means is, of course, normal physiological response, the body said, well, I don't know when the next famine is coming. You refed me, so I better gain this weight back in form of fat so I can store it away for the next disaster time to come. Again, adaptation and survival. The body is super smart and it wants to make sure that it secures the best situation possible for your survival for the next famine to come. So, takeaway, yo-yo dieting doesn't work for this reason, because whenever you regain, you do not regain back your normal body composition, but you are going to add more body fat back. So stop yo-yo dieting and stop calorie restricting over a long period of time. It just does not work. It's insane. What's insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. You had proven it to yourself that it just doesn't work. On top of it, it is super unhealthy, guys. So we're gonna cut it out and stop this behavior. I wanna show you guys the energy balance equation in the body. Energy in, all the food and the drinks you have throughout the day that have any kind of contribution in terms of calories. Energy out, a little bit more stuff going on. We have your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, that is the energy that you burn at rest just to keep you alive. Plus, we have your intended activity, which is basically your scheduled workout routine. We have your non-intended activity, which is basically things like I get up to go to the bathroom, I sharpen my pencil, I eat, I make coffee, blah, 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 so on. All the stuff that you do that counts as movement without you thinking about it and scheduling it throughout the day. And then finally, last but not least, is the thermic effect of food. Yes, guys, it takes energy to break food down into energy. So suppose you eat a big meal that's primarily protein, that's gonna require a lot more energy from your body to break down versus a meal that is mostly carbohydrate. So yes, that adds a certain amount of calories also to your daily energy expenditure. So let's look at the equation. What would happen if I decrease the energy in? So I put an arrow here, I'm decreasing energy in. Naturally, if I know math, that equal sign would mean that everything on the right side has to decrease as well. So yes, of course, your basal metabolic rate is going to go down because now you have to slow down and burn a lot less calories at rest in order to maintain the decrease in the calories that you put in. Okay, in order for this equal sign to be there, what goes down on the left must go down on the right. All right, well, let's see if we can complicate the situation by adding in more physical activity. What would happen if we increase your physical activity? We put an arrow up. Well, in order for this balance to stay the same, that would mean I would have to reduce my BMR even more. So where am I getting at, guys? When you're restricting your calories, you're in famine, you're starving over a long period of time, you reduce your BMR because that's the natural physiologic response from the body in order to make do with less energy. But if you still add exercise to it and now you're going to the gym and running on the treadmill all day long, you have to further reduce your BMR, make it even slower, otherwise this equation will not true. So doing cardio when you're calorie restricting over a long period of time is counter-effective. All you're doing is adding more fat onto your body by reducing your basal metabolic rate even more. So stop it. It's completely silly. We're no longer going to do that. All right? Okay. So now you're in this predicament. You are eating very little. You're exercising a lot. Now you understand why this is completely wrong. And now we're going to fix it. This takes me to the next topic, which is reverse dieting. Reverse dieting, all it is you're gradually and strategically refeeding your body every week, increasing your caloric intake by 100 calories. Initially, you have to get your protein in check. That we are not compromising on. Knowing that 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories, you can increase the first week by 25 grams of protein in order to make up for that 100 calories. And you're going to keep doing this every week until you get to your total protein intake necessary. And that would be 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if I weigh 120 pounds, I have to be ingesting about 120 grams of protein. Once you reach that point, you can start playing with your fats and your carbs. So suppose now I am taking in 120 grams of protein. Now I have to start increasing my carbohydrates. I'm going to increase my 100 calories only with carbohydrates this week. So I'm going to be adding 25 grams of carbs because 1 gram of carb equals 4 calories. Again, 25 grams of carbs times 4 is going to be 100 calories. And then at the end of the week, I'm going to weigh myself. And if I shot up really fast, I can just stay at this level of carbs, or next week I should increase maybe with half that increment. It's completely up to you. Some people want to get there as fast as possible. Some people just really want to minimize the big changes in their body. And that's completely up to you. So the following week, instead of increasing your carbs, you're going to increase your fats. So you're going to start out knowing that 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. Of course, you're going to add approximately 10 grams of fat into your diet. And again, you're going to reevaluate using the scale. Again, the purpose here of using the scale is not that we want to see any kind of body composition change, but we just want to see progress and how our body is reacting to different increased amounts. That's the whole purpose. Right now, you're not in the position to have any kind of expectations about changing your body composition. All we are doing here is taking the time to heal our body, increase our metabolism, so we can start playing with it. All right, so now using this strategy, you get up to your total daily energy expenditure that you have calculated, and you can refer back to my previous video where I taught you how to do that. So now, as long as you can maintain that without gaining, your metabolism has reached its maximum. Your basal metabolic rate has reached its maximum level, which is great. Now remember, guys, during this period of time, you have to reduce your long-term cardio workout. I showed you why. Instead, you want to do high intensity, you want to do weight training in the gym, because you're eating to grow, so might as well grow muscle instead of fat. Muscle is a highly metabolic tissue, and it's going to cost you a lot to maintain it. So go lift heavy at the gym, stop the long-term cardio gradually, not all together at once, but stop it gradually. Now you also have to remember that this process may take a long time for some people, and for some people it might take a couple of months. And it just really depends on how screwed up you got yourself, how long you took to get here, all right? So remember, you have to be patient and do not compare your results to anybody else. Everybody's body is going to behave differently. Some people may gain, some people may actually lose, some people may have around the same weight. So please, 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 your progress is your own. You only compare it to yourself. And be patient, expect that there's going to be changes in your body, and accept that this time you have to take and you have to be patient to allow your body to reheal itself and do whatever it needs to do in order to get its metabolic rate all the way up. And when you're there, from that point on, comes the fun stuff when you can start playing with it and change your body composition and so on. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't done so yet, because then you're going to get notifications about future videos. Thanks for watching. This is Dr. K signing out till next time with Body Successful.